Hi everyone, welcome to this video. So this is a short video on those who are preparing for the Kerala Law Entrance Examination that's coming up in 2 days, right? In the first half of this video, I'll just give you an idea about the paper pattern, what's the syllabus for the examination, what are the subparts or subtopics that you should be preparing on, that you should be familiar with before you go in for the examination, right? And then in the second half, we'll also go through a past year question paper so that you can have an idea of how the questions are usually put to the candidates. Okay, so let's just move right into it. So coming to the exam pattern of this year, this is going to be a computer based exam. It's an online exam where you will have 200 questions to go through, right? You will have 200 questions and then you have 2 hours for it. All right. So time management is yet another area that you need to focus on since it's an entrance examination. You have to maintain, you have to keep watch over the time that you take for each question. Okay. So the marking scheme would go like this. There's 3 marks for every right answer, and then 1 mark will be deducted for every incorrect answer. So there is negative marking. So you need to be careful when you attempt and you put in your answers, because at the end of the day, if you have a good number of correct answers but then an equal number of incorrect answers, then that will really affect your score, right? So just you have to be very smart, you have to be very cautious when you attempt questions, or to decide whether to go for attempting a question or skipping it is something that you need to that's where the exam tests your decision making skills. Okay, now we've covered the mode of exam, the examination duration, the marking scheme. Now we'll just look at the different parts in the paper. So the first part is a general English section. Okay, so in this general English section, usually your English grammar may be tested. You will have some error correction. You will have some comprehension passage. So just like any other entrance exam or any other competitive exam, how your English is going to be tested, this exam is also going to do the same. Then coming to the next second section of general knowledge. Okay, so GK, you should have an idea about static GK, some static GK, as well as some current affairs. Okay, over the past 1 year or 1.5 years, if you can have go through monthly updates of different months, just have an idea of the important dates, then the awards, achievements, honors which were given, who were the recipients on an international level, if there's some award or honor given, and was there any Indian who was a recipient of it, all of these things. Okay, so that's what you need to prepare for in the GK section, or that you can expect in the GK section. Now coming to arithmetic and mental ability, this is your logical reasoning. Okay, you will have different kinds of logical reasoning, different categories of questions that will test your logic as well as your analytical ability, right? That's for 25. You'll have about 25 questions for that. For general English, there are about 60 questions. GK has about 45 questions. And then we go to the most important part of the paper, which is the aptitude for legal studies. That has about 70 questions. So this is where you can really score if you prepare quite well in the legal section, if you have a basic idea about the basic core legal subjects, right? So now we've already discussed about the marking scheme, about how for each correct answer you get 3 marks, and for one incorrect answer you will have a negative marking of 1. Right. Now let's just go into the syllabus. Okay, what exactly is expected of you in each of these sections. So as far as GK is concerned, history, geography, environment, polity, general science, current affairs, then national and international importance, events that have happened on a national and international level, then sports, appointments, awards. So as I mentioned before, these are the areas that you need to be familiar with. Now, GK, it's done. General English, your vocabulary, synonym, antonym, idiom, phrases, then English grammar, fill in the blanks, error correction, English comprehension, close test. All of these might be the expected questions, or that can come for your examination. Now, for arithmetic and mental ability, your math as well as your logical reasoning is going to be tested. Now, coming to finally the legal section. Okay, in the legal section, which are the areas that you need to focus on? So, Indian polity is basically the different organs of state, who takes care of what, which are the different functionaries, how do they function, all of that. As you can access the videos on constitution and then the organs of state to get an idea about the Indian polity and how it works on a union as well as a state level. Then the constitution, yet another important area, a core subject. So under that, I think you should focus on fundamental rights, directive principles of state policy, then have a reading of the preamble, then go through provisions on organs of state, which is the legislature, executive, and judiciary. Then also look at the constitutional bodies like the the Finance Commission, the UPSC, the State Public Service Commission, the Attorney General, Advocate General. So these are some of the constitutional positions or constitutional bodies that are found in the Indian Constitution. So just have a look at them. Then judiciary, executive, legislature, that already comes under the Constitution. Then another core subject that you need to be familiar with is law of torts. Okay, under law of torts, just have an idea about the two main principles. Okay, which are the two main principles? Damnum sine injuria, injuria sine damnum. Then have a look at the different kinds of torts like negligence, nuisance, defamation. Okay, so trespass, all of these are kinds of torts. So what actions or what are the ingredients to constitute these torts? What are the defenses that can be taken up? So all of these will have to be studied under law of torts. Then coming to contract law. Contract law, basic concept that you need to be familiar with is the essential elements of contract. What constitutes a legal or a valid contract? Then what are the void contracts? What are voidable contracts? There's fraud, coercion, undue influence, all of these things. Then discharge of contract, breach of contract. These are some of the concepts that you need to be familiar with. Right? Now coming to CRPC and IPC. These are the two statutes dealing with criminal law. So you will have to know the ingredients to constitute different kinds of offenses. What are the punishments for these offenses? Then what are the basic elements of a crime? Actus reus and mens rea. Then CRPC, with respect to CRPC, just understand the procedure. How does a person get arrested? What are the rights of an arrested person? How does a trial take place? Who is a public prosecutor? What is bail? So these are some of the important topics under IPC and CRPC. Of these topics, you can expect static questions where you will be asked one sentence question. You will have to say, identify this provision or identify this offense or identify which tort it is and everything. Okay, so to understand the conceptual aspects of it. Now, there may also be questions which are legal propositions and facts. So this is a typical legal reasoning question where you will be given a factual situation, you will be given a legal principle. You will have to understand this legal principle and apply the same as such to the factual situation and arrive at a decision. So where you will be given four options. Say, for example, it is the Indian Constitution. They say that a right to religion is a fundamental right. And they give you a factual situation that deals with violation of a person's fundamental right to freedom of religion. So you'll have to decide, is there violation or is there not violation? Depending on and applying the rule, only the rule that's given to you, just stick to that rule and apply it to the factual situation. Okay, so you can expect legal propositions and facts which may be to apply constitutional law, it may be contract law, it may be law of torts, anything. Or it may be IPC, where you will be given the ingredient of an offense and then you'll be given a factual situation and you will have to decide if a theft has been committed or if that offense has been committed. Then another area is international laws and bodies. Okay, what are the main principles of international law? What is the purpose of international law? Then under that, which are the different bodies, international bodies? One of the main bodies or one of the main international organizations is the United Nations organization. Then what is the structure? What is the composition? What are the functions of the United Nations? Which are the different organs of the United Nations? which are the specialized agencies of the United Nations. So these are some of the things that you need to be familiar with under international law, right? So if you have a basic idea, a conceptual idea about each of these core subjects, legal reasoning will also be easy for you. Now, since we now that we have discussed the syllabus, the important topics, important areas to be covered, let us just look at a previous year question paper, right? So this is the 2019 question paper. So as you can see, and as you can figure out from the first question itself, this is English, okay, where you have to find out the synonym, or so see, choose the word nearest in meaning to the word liturgy. So you will have to identify the synonym, or it may also be antonym. So at this point, when questions like these come, be very clear, be very attentively read the question, because it may either ask for a synonym or an antonym, right? Now, so these are some of the questions on English, right? You can expect such questions. You can expect identify the meaning of the idiom or phrase, right? So these are some of the questions under English. Right now, let's just, so this is reading comprehension under English. So you have to read this passage and then try to answer the questions given to you. Now let's just skip to the legal section alone, okay? Since there are about 70 questions on legal. So from question number 131 is legal. So here you can expect, see, single one word answers, okay? So such questions will come, just go through them, which is why your concept has to be very clear. You should know the theoretical aspects of each of these core subjects. Okay, so that's done. Then also expect some legal current affairs or legal developments that have taken place in the recent past. Say the farmers' law, or some appointment of the Chief Justice. Okay, or who is the first female Chief Justice. So these are some of the static questions or current affairs or GK questions that fall under the purview of legal section. Okay, then you can be asked sections, okay, sections or articles of the Constitution. So though it may not be possible to remember all the articles of the Constitution, just at least remember the important ones, say the fundamental rights, okay, which is article 12 to article 35. So at least remember these, which are the fundamental rights. Be very clear about those important topics, okay. And also the legal development. So these are all questions, some important judgments also. So some landmark judgments that you need to be familiar with. Some of the, say, landmark judgments like Keshavananda Bharati, or say the Shabarimala case, or the homosexuality case, decriminalizing the homosexuality case. So these are some of the recent cases which are very landmark, and also some old landmark cases like the DMA Pai Foundation case or the Puttaswamy case. It's a privacy case. So some important judgments can also be asked. So just try to make a list of important judgments, okay? Now let's just go into the, so these are all one-word questions on different aspects. See, there's constitution, there's contracts, there's torts, there's criminal law, all of these coming into place. Now, at the end, say, look at question number 191. It deals with legal reasoning. See, you're given a legal principle and a factual situation. Now you have to apply this legal principle to this factual situation and then try to find out the correct answer. Okay, pick the right option from the 4 options given below. So let's just take one example. Say the first question number 191. What is the legal principle? Whoever intending to take dishonestly a movable property out of the possession of any person without that person's consent is said to commit theft. Whoever commits theft shall be punished with imprisonment, which may extend to 3 years, or with fine, or with both. So this is the legal principle. This is basically giving you the ingredients of the offense of theft. Okay, so you have to identify that, keep note of that. Now look at the factual situation. Hari sees a cell phone belonging to Ram lying on the table in Ram's house. Hari hides the cell phone in Ram's house, so that Ram could not find it ever, due to the fear of immediate search and detection. Hari did this with the intention of taking away the cell phone from the possession of Ram, but he forgets about it and then sells it anyway. So is Hari guilty of theft? So here there is a dishonest intention, there is a movable property, it was taken out of the possession. So answer is option D. Yes, because Hari intended to take the mobile property from Ram's possession, and with this intention, he moved the property. So you have to identify these key words in the legal principle and see. So those will be the conditions that you need to satisfy to hold Hari guilty. Now, when you read the factual situation, you have to make sure that these ingredients are satisfied. If they are satisfied, then he is guilty. If not, he is not guilty. Then you go to the options. What are the options? There are two options which saying yes. If there are two options which say no, then read the reasoning and then try to identify the most appropriate answer. Okay, so similarly, you will have these legal principles, legal reasoning questions in which you will have to apply this legal principle to this factual situation. So for this, your prior knowledge may not be expected. So even if you do not know what the legal principle is, there is nothing to worry, because you can just read that legal principle, understand it as in when you read it, and then stick to that legal principle and just apply that to the factual situation. Okay, so even if you do not know what the legal principle is, or you have not read about it in the past, it is absolutely fine. If you can understand from reading it, you can just try to apply it and then arrive at an answer. Okay, so as far as legal section of Kerala entrance is concerned, you will have to focus both on the concepts or the static questions as well as on the legal reasoning questions. Okay, so good luck to all of you. I hope you prepare really well and you do the exam and give the exam really well. Take the examination well, keep a calm head, and then I think you will be able to get it, or you'll be able to crack the exam. Thank you so much.